Mr. Hayward, when I heard about the explosion in the Gulf, the immediate company that popped in my brain was BP. And that's because last number of years from Texas City, where people died and 170 people were injured, the North Slope, the problems we've had there, and BP's own 2007 report on the Management Accountability Project, in which it stated there was a culture that evolved over the years that seemed to ignore risk, tolerate non-compliance, and accepted incompetence. So I wasn't surprised when we heard about the explosion in the Gulf and BP was part of it. Since then, this committee, the Oversight Investigations Committee of the Energy and Commerce Committee, we have methodically looked at this issue. And I know you have and your company has also. On May 12th, we had a hearing, which we looked at a number of things that went wrong. On May 25th, our committee, Chairman Waxman and myself, put out a memo, and it was based on BP's preliminary report. And I'm sure you're familiar with that report, are you not, sir?
I am.
And then on June 14th, Chairman Waxman and I sent you a letter, 14 pages, where we talk about the crazy well and the nightmare well. Quite frankly, BP blew it. You cut corners to save money and time. And as the chief executive officer of BP, as I stated in my opening, you called for a leaner decision-making process. You called for fewer people in the decision-making process. You stated individuals need to be accountable for risk and to manage risk. Therefore, BP's leadership managed the risk in this well. Did you manage the risk properly?
Since I've been the CEO of this company, I have focused on safe, reliable operations. I've set the tone from the top by making it very clear to everyone in BP that safe, reliable operations are our number one priority. Well, of course, it's about much more than words. Safety is about three things. It's about plant, it's about people, and it's about process. In the last 3 years, we've invested more than $14 billion in plant integrity.
But then what happened here? I mean, the June 14th letter we put out the other day, we went through 5 major areas. The head of the CEOs of the oil companies that were before this committee Tuesday all said, you did it wrong. They never would have done a well this way. You made decisions whether to do a casing or the string with the tieback, which everyone said the tieback would have been safer. The lockdown sleeve. Centralizers, instead of doing 21, as was recommended, you only do 6. That defies this safety emphasis, does it not?
We've launched an investigation, which we've shared with yourself, Mr. Chairman, and all of your members, which has identified 7 areas. It's identified areas around cement, casing, integrity pressure measurement, well control procedures, and 3 areas around the blowout preventer which failed to operate.
Sure.
That investigation is ongoing. It's not complete.
You're the CEO of this company. You said you were here to answer the questions of the American people. You were an exploration manager with BP. You were the director of BP's exploration. You were vice president of BP's exploration and production. You hold a PhD from the University of Edinburgh. Based on our May 12th hearing, the May 25th memo, our June 14th letter to you, based on all those facts, are you trying to tell me you have not reached a conclusion that BP really cut corners here?
I think it's too early to reach conclusions with respect, Mr. Chairman. The investigations are ongoing. They've identified 7 key areas, and when they're complete...
Every one of those 7 key areas, sir, dealt with saving time and saving money and accepting the risk. So if we use your own words, if you're going to hold BP accountable, then we have to manage the risk. Shouldn't leadership at BP be held accountable here?
There is no doubt that I've focused on safe, reliable operations. We've made major changes in everything we do over the last 3 years. We've changed people.
What changes have you made since April 20th, when the BP Deepwater Horizon exploded? What changes were made then?
Based on what we know so far, we have made changes with respect to the testing and evaluation of blowout preventers. We've made changes with respect to ensuring that people who are likely to be dealing with well control are up to date and fully validated for well control procedures. And as we learn more about what happened here, we will continue to make changes.
My time's just about up, and I'm going to try to hold members quickly to our time because we want to get through at least one more round. Let me just ask you this. Last 5 years that I've been up here, your safety record, you have 26 people dead, more than 170 injured. You have the largest spill ever in Alaska. You now have the largest environmental disaster that hit the United States with no end in sight with this disaster. Do you believe the U.S. government should continue to allow companies that have poor safety records, poor environmental records, to explore minerals or oil exploration in our country? Should there be a ban on companies that have miserable safety and environmental records?
In the 3 years that I've been CEO, I've focused on improving dramatically our safety and environmental performance. Prior to this accident, that had indeed been the case, and that is why, amongst all the other reasons, I am so devastated by this accident. I
agree, and under your tenure, you said you had the 2007 report that was scathing of BP's culture. We still have problems with Alaska. You said you're going to hold people accountable. Who are we going to hold accountable here?
We've engaged in a systematic change at BP over the last 3 years. We have begun to change the culture. I'm not denying that there isn't more to do, but we have made dramatic changes in the people we have in our organisation, the skills and capabilities they have. We've invested heavily into that. We've changed significantly the processes that we use to manage our operations, and most importantly, perhaps, we've made safe, reliable operations the core of the company. It is the thing that I talk about every time I talk internally and every time I talk externally about BP.
Not to play game semantics, but in your opening statement you said as long as you were CEO of BP, these things would occur. Do you expect to be CEO of BP much longer?
At the moment, I'm focused on the response. I think everyone here believes that the highest priority is to stop the leak, contain the oil on the surface, and clean it up. And that is what my focus is.